Network operating systems. An operating system is the program initially loaded into computer memory when the computer is turned on. It manages all other programs or applications and resources, such as hard drive, memory, peripheral devices in a computer. That's the normal operating system, not the network operating system. Even after an application starts and is being executed, the application makes use of the operating system by making service requests through defined APIs. In addition, application programming interface. In addition, users can interact directly with the operating system through an interface such as a graphical user interface, command language, or shell. An operating system can perform a number of services, most of which are critical or crucial to the proper operation of a modern computer system. In a multitasking operating system, multiple programs can be running at the same time. They call it multitasking, and if the same program has different functions running in simultaneously, they call it multi-threading. All right. If we scroll down, a modern operating system must also provide various levels of operating system security, including directory and file security, memory security, and resource security. A function that may not be as obviously essential as multitasking, memory and storage management, or security, but it is in fact equally important, is communicating about the status of operations. An operating system sends messages to applications, an interactive user, or a system operator about the status of a current operation. It also sends messages about any errors that may have occurred. A number of popular operating systems exist on different types of computer systems. For example, popular operating systems for microcomputers include macOS, Unix, Linux, and various forms of Windows, XP, Vista 7, 8, 10. Newer operating systems that operate smartphones are Android systems and Apple iOS. Popular operating systems for large computers are mini computers and mainframes. Of course, all these products and all these names are American names because this is an American reference. Let's proceed. All right. For large computers, mini computers, and mainframes, IBM's OS 390, AS 400, DAS's VMs, Open VMs, and again Unix and Linux. That was this almost a page was about a regular operating system. Now we'll proceed and start talking about a network operating system, because this book is about networks, data communications, and network and computer networks. A network operating system is a large, complex program that can manage the common resources on most local area networks, in addition to performing standard operating system services mentioned previously. So it's an operating system, but it's an extended, with extended abilities, okay? Or an extended version. Table 8.1 summarizes the functions of a network operating system. Let's scroll down and go to the table. So network operating system functions manage one or more network servers, file system of datasets, application, user profiles, network peripherals, coordinate all resources and services available, process requests from user, prompt users for network login, validate accounts, apply restrictions. So basically, it manages one or more network servers, and the servers are so many: file and print server, specific application server, login domain controller, and much more. Print server, yeah. Manage one or more network printers, print server. Manage the interconnection between local area networks. Manages locally connected users. Manage remotely connected users. Support system security. Support client server functions. And support web page development and web server operations. So these are basically the network operating system. And if we scroll down, we will see the next topic: network operating systems, past and present. And hopefully they have a table that shows a brief talk about that. Novel network in the 80s. Novel network, from Novel, there was an operating system called Netware, and it's including Netware Directory Services, NDS. If we keep going, we have something called redirection and binary. These terms are related to the novel network and organizational unit and leave objects and possible design for network operating system tree. So we have the root, the university, library, and different sectors. For details, additional suggestions for designing a network tree: San Francisco network, Dallas becomes root, my company, San Francisco, Dallas network, just like a hierarchy. Okay, Microsoft Windows NT and Windows Server in the 90s, it started and still in service till this moment. Like Network, Windows NT and its later incarnations, Windows Server 2000, 2003, 2008, 2012, and I think there is 2017 as well, hereafter called Windows Server, are network operating systems designed to run over network for microcomputer workstations and provide file sharing and peripheral sharing. Also, like most recent versions of NetWare, Windows Server was designed to offer necessary administrative tools to support multiple users, multiple servers, and wide range of network peripheral devices. Okay. Windows NT version 4. The NT domain. Windows Server 2000. Now we have Active Directory. Stores information about all objects and resources in the network and makes this information available to users, network administrators, and application programs. Like Netware NDS, the Active Directory creates a hierarchical structure of resources. Microsoft felt it was in its best interest to create a directory service based on existing standards rather than to create a new proprietary directory service. Thus, you may hear network specialists talk about how Active Directory is built around the Internet's domain name system, DNS, which is introduced in Chapter 10, and a second standard called LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, LDAP. And second example of a tree design of Windows Active Directory. So this is a forest that contains domains, and the domain contains trees. And the tree contains object unit, and the object unit can contain several object units, and each one of these sub object units can contain users or servers. And the whole thing is called a domain, which lies inside the tree that lies inside a forest. Windows Server 2003 and its features, Windows Server 2008 and 12 and its features, and Unix. Unix is a popular operating system that can be found on a single user workstation as well as on mainframe computers and server. It is most often found with a text-based interface, although graphical user interfaces are available. Unix was initially designed by Bell Labs and was first implemented in the 70s. It is a relatively streamlined system, which explains why it operates quickly. Shortly after its introduction, a Unix software was rewritten in the popular C programming language. So it was written using the C language. Owing to characteristics of the C programming language and Unix design, the internal code of C is relatively easy to modify. For this reason, and because early versions of operating systems were given away for free, Unix became extremely popular in academic institutions. One of the most popular variants of the Unix system is BSD version, originally released from University of California, Berkeley. Because Unix is one of the older operating systems and has grown into processing power over many years, it's quite stable. Another consequences of its age is the Unix run on the widest variety of hardware of any network operating system. It handles network operations as well, and a broad range of applications have been written to run in Unix. Today, many experts consider Unix to be one of the best operating systems for supporting large applications such as a multi-user database system and the web-based servers. As a network operating system, Unix has many strengths and supports all of the features of the network operating system that are summarized in Table 8.1 that we just saw. Furthermore, Unix has stable security system that is also based on many years of experience. Many applications have been created over the years for Unix that support client-server functions as well as web page development and web server operations. Because it has a devout following that will ensure its evolution in the face of competition from newcomers, Unix will probably be available for many years. Linux. Since its early days, Unix has evolved into many versions and executes on a number of computer platforms. One version that generated lots of interest in the 90s was Linux. Linux, while based on Unix concept, is a complete rewrite of Unix kernel and borrows additional functions from the well-established Free Software Foundation GNU toolset and from the even larger free software community. Interestingly, some of the largest and fastest computer systems in the world run on Linux. Linux shares many of the same advantages and disadvantages of Unix and performs similarly to Unix as a network operating system. A number of features, however, set Linux apart from Unix as well as from all other operating systems. First and foremost is the cost of Linux. If downloaded from the internet, the software is and always has been free. These days, however, many companies are choosing to purchase Linux from a vendor that specializes in providing the latest version of Linux along with all supporting applications and utilities such as web-based support tools, a graphical user interface, and latest version of peripheral drivers. Whereas Unix and Windows server can cost thousands or to tens of thousands of dollars depending upon the number of workstation. Commercial version of Linux can cost a little as few $100s. So Linux with the letter L is way cheaper than Unix and Windows Server. And let's proceed. Mac OS X Server. During a time when Microsoft products dominate the business system markets, Apple continues to create a unique space for itself in K-12 educational market. To support its line of Mac computers, Apple created the Mac OS X server, essentially the 10th version of Macintosh operating system. This server is capable of supporting both Mac and Windows groups and is based on software created by the open source community. In other words, Mac OS server is based on the Unix concept and thus shares some characteristics with both Unix and Linux operating systems, such as fast, efficient, and stable code. The operating system also incorporates a number of well-known open source software applications such as Apache Web Server, Kerberos Security, Spam Assassin, Open LDAP directory services, and the Samba file and print server. Servers. A server is a computer that stores software resources such as a network operating system, computer applications, program data, and database, and performs one or more network type services for attached client. There are many different types of servers. Server can support a network operating system and are termed network servers. There are also file servers. So we have network servers, file servers for storing files, email servers, print servers for temporary storage of print jobs, database server, web server, FTP server, and DNS servers converting URLs to IP addresses. The list goes on and on. A redundant array of independent disks is a collection of techniques for interfacing multiple hard drives to a computer. So we can have an array of hard drives connected to a computer, and they can be configured in either RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 2, RAID 3, RAID. And if it's RAID 0, in which data is broken into pieces, each piece is stored on different hard disk drive. This technique is known as stripping. There is no redundancy of data in this technique. So if one disk drive fails, some of the data is lost. So RAID 0 is not really recommended because it doesn't have any redundancy. Does not protect your file, your information. RAID 1, in which data stored at least 2 hard drives in duplicate. It's a full duplication. So if you have a storage, you're practically using half of it. And this is called disk mirroring, like you're creating a mirror. RAID 3, in which data is redundantly stored across multiple hard drives by stripping and error-checking information concerning the stored data is kept on separate disks. This error-checking information can be used to detect errors and possibly reconstruct the data should some of it become corrupted. RAID 5, which is really commonly used, the data is broken into pieces, stripes, and stored across 3 or more disks. 3 or more. All right. Party information or error checking code is stored along with the strip data. So each hard drive contains a third of the data plus more information about the rest. All right. Any two hard drives can generate the third. RAID 5 is the most popular of RAID techniques. And usually the array that contains the hard drives, it supports hot swap. So when a hard disk fails, it has an orange lid. You just take it out, you put a blank hard drive, and the operating system of the RAID 5 will regenerate the files, the information, and store it in the new hard drive, and everything goes smoothly. A recent technological advance for server is a server virtualization. With server virtualization, it's not a real server, it's a virtual server. With server virtualization, it's possible to make one computer or a server act if it were multiple computers or servers. The advantage to this is that each server thinks it is the only server running on that computer. It has access to all the necessary resources it needs, and any difficulties of the software experiences will not affect the other virtual servers running on the machine. The disadvantages of the server virtualization include additional software complexity and added level of a human management. All right, then we have the term server appliance and server blade. And if we keep skimming, we will see the client server network versus the peer-to-peer network. Client server, you have servers and you have a client, while the peer-to-peer, you don't really have servers. May not have servers. All right. Network support software, utilities. Let's look at the utilities. Some of the more common groups of network utility software: antivirus network, antivirus software, anti-spam software, anti-spyware software, backup software. And I worked before on backup solutions like Avamar solution from EMC Corporation, and like DLO solution from Symantec Corporation, and like the Druva solution. I don't remember the company name. And that backup is really important. Crash protection software, network monitoring software, remote access software, security assessment software, and uninstall software. All these are utilities. And here, an explanation of each one of them. Antivirus, anti-spam. What's spyware? What's anti-spyware? What's backup software? Crash protection, network monitoring, sniffers. Some type of hackers can listen to traffic on the network and determine if invalid messages are being transmitted, report network problems such as malfunctioning NICs, and detect traffic congestion problems. So sniffers really are like friends, hackers. It's not like they are friends, they help. Wireless sniffers can perform similar operations, can also detect how far wireless signal reach. Remote access software Many types of remote access software also create VPN between the remote user and the network computer. Security assessment software uninstall software and we have the internet software. Important segment of software market is internet software, a tool set to support internet-related services. These services and applications include web browsers, web server, web page publishing software, among others. Browsers allow users to download and view www pages. Browsers also allow users to access internal intranet pages and corporate extranet pages. Most users familiar with Firefox, Chrome, Safari, all these are like web browsers, Internet Explorer, and Opera. A number of tools are available to support browsers such as spelling checkers, pop-up blockers, download managers that can handle web page downloads smoothly and efficiently no matter what connection speed. Web server software is the application or set of programs that stores web pages and allows browsers from anywhere in the world to access those web pages. All right. Software licensing agreement. The licensing agreement that companies and software products is a legal contract and describes a number of conditions that must be upheld for proper use of the software package. Most licensing agreements specify conditions in the following areas: software installation and use, network installation, backup copy, rental statement, upgrades, copyrights, maintenance. Single user single station license, single user multiple station license, interactive user license, and server license, site license, corporate license, general public license. The general public license is associated with a software that is free to share and change. LAN support devices, UPS, uninterruptible power supply. Network attached storage (NAS) storage is a computer-based device that provides a large amount of storage to users in the networks. A stripped-down operating system running on the NAS is designed for the sole purpose of retrieving data for users. NAS should not be confused with a SAN, storage area network. A SAN is a simpler storage device and uses network protocol such as iSCSI and fiber and Fibri channel to store and retrieve data. Another way to look at the difference between NAS and SAN is that NAS is powerful enough to use its own file system protocol, whereas SAN is simpler, just storage device, and relies on network level protocol for creating the file system. So the NAS is more powerful. The network attached storage is way more powerful than the SAN. Media converters, thin client, zero client, and LAN software in action. This is a scenario which is very nice and interesting. And the primary uses of current system: network maintenance and support, cost of NOS, network operating system, any unique hardware choices affecting NOS decision, single location or multiple locations. At the present time, all of HANA's companies resources. So we're still talking about that case study. Okay. Political measures affecting decision, final decision. Wireless networking in action, creating a wireless LAN for home. You want to create a wireless LAN for home. You do this. And the chapter summary. Here is the chapter summary. And the key terms, review questions, exercises, more exercises, and finally, thinking outside the box and hands-on projects.